Be honest, do you believe that? Wallahi, that's false.
Because yeah, it's not true. We agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Because what you're saying is false.
that's not what Sikhs believe in either.
There are practices and beliefs in Sikhism which are too close to Islam for you to say that it was independently discovered despite it. There are 3 fixed times for prayers, and then in that you can pray actually 5 times if you space it out.
This kind of reminds me of something.
Okay, they pray 5 times a day.
What?
Yes. And they follow the same time. They follow the same time. Fajr,
You gotta be kidding me.
Zuhur, Asr. Wallahi.
No
Wallahi.
way, bro. He's saying the same thing, but we already answered this. Sikhs pray in the morning, in the evening, and before bed.
And you have to wash yourself before you pray.
They invented taking a bath. That's what it seems.
How could it be that a religion, which is not a universalist religion, okay, your religion stayed in the Punjab? That's why I don't find black Sikhs that many.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji went across the whole of Hindustan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Sangaladi, Sri Lanka today. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Afghanistan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Iraq. Guru Nanak Dev Ji did more for the charge than Jesus. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke many languages. They spoke in Hindi, they spoke the language of Sanskrit, they spoke in Farsi. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke so many different languages and dialects of the time, and you're saying that Sikhi is not universal.
One of the largest free kitchens in the whole world is at Sri Darbar side,
Yeah.
where they feed people from every background.
You've got an individual, Guru Nanak. He was influenced, without a shadow of a doubt, by Sufis and by Hinduism. He had a peer who is called Bhagat Farid. Bhagat Farid's works are in the Guru Granth Sahib. Why is he quoted inside of the GGS?
If you just do a Google search, right, they will tell you in Google that Bhagat Farid Ji came onto this earth 300 years nearly before Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So where's the interaction? Yes, their writings are added. It doesn't make a case for Islam, it makes a case for spiritual wisdom. So it's differentiating between the two.
If he's saying that Sikhi is an amalgamation of Islam, right, and Hinduism, and he's given Bhagat Farid Ji as his reference, who was, you could say, is like a fringe of what Islam, modern day Islam would consider. If it's an amalgamation of Islam, why isn't the Prophet's word in the Guru Granth Sahib? It's basically a circular argument, right? What he's saying is Islam is true because the Prophet said it's true, and the Prophet said, I am the last Prophet. He's using his own sources, his own reasoning to prove himself.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't accept that in the first place. It's like saying, oh, Liverpool Football Club is the best football club because their fan club says it in their book. It doesn't make any sense.
Welcome back to another episode of the BoS TV reaction series, where we take the videos that you send to us and we react to them. It's been a while. Big up to, I forgot his name, is it Samit from Malaysia?
Yeah.
That was probably the last one I think we reacted to. That was quite a while ago. Born in a Sikh family, and then he converted to Islam, and he just spewed a lot of false narratives about Sikhi and made a lot of things up. And Guru Kirpan, the Sangat, learned a lot from it and learned a lot about the types of tactics that certain individuals use to distort the teachings and the message of Sikhi, basically. And today we've got a video from someone called Mohammed Hijab.
Yep.
So Mohammed Hijab is quite an influential character. He's a YouTube influencer, I'd say, as well.
Yeah.
Quite popular. He actually there was a video of Bhagat Singh as well when they went to Speaker's Corner, and he spoke to Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa, these kind of guys. I was actually there. I was the cameraman.
Oh, wow.
So what's going on today?
Yeah, so he's made a video and it's got about 80,000 views so far, and he's titled it A Message to the Sikhs. And what he's done in this video is quite interesting, and we'll go into detail later about all the individual points. But straight off the bat, what we want to say is that his premise that he set out, we totally reject that. And the way he's framed and put Sikhi into this Islamic framework, into this box, which doesn't actually fit. It doesn't make any sense. And when you start to realize that, his whole argument falls apart. And we're going to go into a lot more details, but as an underlying base, we wanted to start off with this because technically we don't need to sit here and debate with Islam or people like that. And we know Mohammed Hijab doesn't represent all Muslims, right?
Yeah.
So that's another key point. You have many diverse opinions and viewpoints from people in practicing Islam. So we wouldn't say he's some authority on this topic. We're not saying that we're against Muslims in this video. So that's one clear distinction we want to make. We have loads of Muslim friends that are really kind, loving, neighborly Muslims, and we get along with them fine. So this isn't an attack on Islam. We wanted to make that clear. This is an attack on the argument that Mohammed Hijab has brought forward.
Why has he made this video? It's always quite interesting because it's like, out of all the times someone can make a video about Sikhi, or in this case, as they refer to as Sikhism, why now? So in June 2026, when this video is being filmed, there's been a lot of spotlight, if Can you say that? On the Sikhs, due to a case that's taken place in the UK, where Sikhs, the term Sikh is probably trending a lot online, right? So Mohammed Hijab has seen this. I've seen that Sikhs in the spotlight, and this is his opportunity to go out there and deliver his message to the Sikhs, knowing that Sikh is being searched online. So in that case, we have an opportunist, right? Seeing that this is my chance where I can deliver a message. And we'll go through the video now in terms of what he has to say. The first 50 seconds is like an ad. He's just promoting building a mosque in Norway or something. So we skip that. We've moved to 50 seconds in the video where he now speaks directly to the Sikhs. And let's see what he has to say.
And hello to my Sikh friends. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
There's been a lot of talk about the Sikh community because of the dreadful death of Henry Nawak and the discussion about the Kirpan, and some people have been trying to generalize the dignified and integrous Sikh community of this country in the UK in a bad way, especially in the far right, because they've seen, they do that all the time. They've been doing that with Muslims, they've been doing that with black people, they've been doing that with all kinds of ethnic marriages. So it's not something which actually surprises anybody. We've spoken about on Twitter, I've had these discussions about the Kirpan and stuff. I don't want to really go there today with you. In fact, I wanted to just suggest something, and I'm going to be really direct because I know that you guys.
So just quickly, with the Kirpan Henry Nawak case that's taken place in the UK, you've seen that as something that's trending. He's jumped on that. He's mentioned it to start with. So when I first watched his video, I thought maybe he was going to give us some advice. I give the Sikhs some advice, on how to deal with this situation or something. Not that we need it. I thought, Chalo, theek hai, he wants to give some advice, but the conversation quickly switches or shifts to what he's going to mention now, right?
And it's very clever the way he's trying to kind of empathize or sympathize with the kind of the Sikhs in Britain, because we're under the spotlight at the moment. And even when he's talking about like the far right and all these things, this kind of fascist ideology which is coming much more prevalent nowadays in the West. It's something that we probably need to deal with as a collective, and everyone needs to unite against that kind of oppression and tyranny, which is what the Guru stood for, right? So it's clever that he's tapping into that kind of sorcery, that thinking, and then he's using that as a bridge to then go into his next kind of argument.
Well, it's all marketing, right? You hook them in, you've got something that's relevant, relatable, that's happening, and now they're hooked in. Like I've seen a lot of the videos that Muslims make when they do their prachar, they hook you in with one concept that is quite universal that everybody knows about, and then they go straight into what they are actually trying to push, which is their own prachar in that case. So let's see what he wants to talk to the Sikhs about.
Very busy. I wanted to make an argument.
And he said we're very busy. We are very busy. Right? We made time. We made time for this as well.
A theological argument. Now, this theological argument is an argument that Islam is true and that Sikhism plagiarized from Islam. Okay, and there's no way that this could be coincidental. I know that sounds very disrespectful in your religion, but the truth has no limits. Okay, we have to just be honest about these things, and this is part of us being, frankly, being ingenuous with each other, authentic with each other. The argument I'm going to present is, I'm going to call it the Sufi convergence argument, or the improbability parallel argument. So look, Guru Nanak is an individual who is located in the Punjab region. Actually, he's perhaps ironically born in present-day Pakistan. And he's an individual who had interaction.
Just to pause there, because something interesting that he's made here. He's trying to infer that because Guru Nanak Dev Ji is born in modern-day Pakistan, that maybe the Guru was influenced by the culture or the norms of that society, right? Pakistan didn't even exist at that time, right? 500 years ago, 5 centuries ago, there was no nation state called Pakistan. It was Punjab. And then if we were to kind of turn this logic on him and say that, well, the Prophet Muhammad, he was born in modern day Saudi Arabia, right? So if we were to apply the same logic, I don't think they would like that if we were to say that the Prophet was influenced by the cultures and the norms of today's Saudis, because which I know people like Mohammed Hijab are probably against what a lot of practices that are going on in the area. So his whole argument falls apart when we're trying to base previous historical standards on today's standards of a nation state which never even existed.
100%. And we'll let the video keep playing a little bit longer, but straight away it's like, whoa, he's gone straight in, right? Straight in with the attack, right? So let's see what he continues to say.
With Sufi people, the like of Baba Farid, who is a Sufi Muslim. Now, he also obviously was in a milieu where Hinduism was prevalent. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. How likely is it that this was all the case and that these two religions, which actually have nothing to do with each other, Islam and Hinduism, really in its final form, I'm not talking about a case that can be in the beginning, they're not Abrahamic sort of religions, they don't come from the same sort of, they have nothing to do with each other, but somehow Sikhism was able to amalgamate those two aspects in religion into one religion, holding on to, for example, on the one hand, monotheism, Onkar, the idea of strict sort of monotheism, and on the other hand, you've got reincarnation, which is associated more with Hinduism, combining it into one religion, and somehow this is meant to be the religion from God. Okay.
So if we just stop here, he's spoken about three big topics. The first one that he's mentioned is that Sikhs plagiarized Islam. The second thing he's talked about is a Sufism argument, and he's related this mainly to Bhagat Farid Ji, right? And then he's talking about the interactions between the Guru and the Hindus and the Muslims. And then he's got to his final conclusion, which is that Sikh is an amalgamation of Islam and Hinduism, which is the same argument that people have made for so long, for so many years. And it's like, don't people get bored of saying the same thing again and again? It's like everyone wants a piece of us, right? Everyone's like, you asked why Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Muslim, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Hindu. It's like the same arguments to be going on again and again and again. And then he's spoken about reincarnation in Hindu faith, saying that we just took Onkar and we took reincarnation and we put them together, and that's how he made Sikhi, right? So the first thing I'll start with is Bhagat Farid Ji, because he mentions that Guru Nanak Dev Ji had interactions with Bhagat Farid Ji. Now, the interesting thing is, if you just do a Google search, right? Let's not even go into like our scripture in terms of something known as Mahan Kosh, which you could refer to as at the encyclopedia of Sikhi, right?
Yep.
If you just go into Google and type in Bhagat Farid Ji, they will tell you in Google that Bhagat Farid Ji came onto this earth 300 years nearly before Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So where's the interaction? Where's the interaction between Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Bhagat Farid Ji? There's no interaction. Right?
Yes. And the funny thing is, later he also mentions that, it'd be good if you get a third-party source.
Yeah.
And we don't use our own kind of Islamic or Sikhi sources to debate this. But there isn't even a debate here. You ask any third-party scholar, the historical website you want to check, they all confirm the same thing. Bhagat Farid Ji was 3 centuries before the Guru. So how could they have interacted and influenced Guru Nanak Dev Ji?
We'll keep going to this topic deeper into the video because he repeats his points again. In terms of the interaction that Guru Nanak Dev Ji had with Bhagat Farid Ji, it was with somebody in his lineage known as Sheikh Ibrahim, or Farid Sani was another name given to them. And it comes in a history of 2 occasions where they did meet. However, we're not going to go into that because we're just sticking to his points. We're not trying to go too much out of the realm of what he's spoken about. Just to answer the question, starting off his first point in the video about Bhagat Farid Ji, there was no interaction.
And the key point here is any interaction there was with the lineage of Bhagat Farid Ji, we have all those interactions. We have the historical sources, the written accounts of what was discussed. And then even on this point, the Guru themselves used to reject a lot of the Muslim practices. So it doesn't even go hand in hand, this argument that just because the Guru met Muslims, that they were influenced by Muslims. But then how does that make sense at the same time when they were meeting Muslims, meeting Hindus, meeting people from different faiths, and then also challenging them?
And we'll go into that later on into the video. Just the points he mentions afterwards of the interactions between Hindus and Muslims, and he mentions Onkar and reincarnation. So he's saying that we stole the idea of one God from the Muslims and we stole the idea of reincarnation from the Hindus. If you look at our concept of one God, it is different to their concept of one God. So they believe that Allah, Khuda, which are names that we use for God as well, that they are separate from creation. We believe that Vaheguru, Allah, Khuda, in our definition, is that they're not just separate, but they're also in the creation. They're everywhere. Our definition of one God in that case is different to theirs. So they can't say we copied it because our truth is different to their truth of how we view it.
That's it. The definitions are completely different, right? And it's good he mentioned Onkar, because Onkar, the answer's in what he said. Ik means one God, but Onkar means something else. Onkar expands into many, many different meanings, and there's so many schools of this that have done so much discourse on, and you can spend hours learning it. But very simply, what does it mean? Like Sargon, Nirgon, that the one from the one, there was this multiplicity. There was many that came from this one, right?
Yeah, not to go too much detail, but like you're saying, definitely. And even the idea of Karta, Puruk, Karta being the creator, the doer, Puruk, one translation of Puruk, which comes in the Mumantar, which follows Onkar in that case. They say Puruk here means Puran, the one that poured themselves into the creation. So they weren't just separate from the creation, they poured themselves into the creation, into each element, each atom, so on and so on. We're just going to leave it there and move on to the reincarnation point. But of course, it's funny because in other videos, they would disagree with our concept of one God, because they say, with what I just said right now, that is God in the toilet then?
Yeah.
So it's, in this case, it's all right for them to use the point that we have the same one God theory,
Monotheism, yeah.
but we don't. Okay? So that's not, in that case, plagiarizing or copying, because our concept is different. When it comes to reincarnation, just generalizing, because when he's saying Islam and Hinduism, what is Hinduism, right? With no disrespect to our Hindu brothers out there, but this idea of Hinduism, it's a colonial era term grouping diverse Indian traditions, right? So in India, Hindustan, Bharat, hundreds of years ago, there were many traditions, right? And when the British came, what did they do? They just put them all together, right? Hindus, Indians, the common person in India, their traditions are very different. One person may worship one god, one person may worship hundreds of gods. So when you look at this idea of reincarnation, I'm just generalizing because again, it's so vast. But you could say generally what the Guru came to do was that they came to call out the hypocrisy, because the reincarnation system that they have, it's ridiculed in the caste system. So if you're from a low caste, you have to make your way up through the caste system to the highest caste, known as a Brahman, then you can achieve liberation. But the Guru said anybody of any caste, of any background, can obtain liberation, and they can also obtain that liberation, now known as Jivan Mukti.
This is a very simplistic approach, right? Like with Hinduism, that term is such a diverse, there's so many schools of thought when it comes to Hinduism. So we make that caveat here that this is a very simplistic kind of, we're just using language that he has used in that kind of argument, right?
Definitely. Even this idea of Sufism, again, I've not looked into it too much, but I'm sure more of the mainstream Muslims will not even class Sufis as Muslims or question a lot of their practices, which you could say some of them in line with Sikhi in terms of the idea of singing, kirtan, and so on. So it's just interesting how they're using this point.
A lot of these Dawa circles reject Sufism and reject because what they say is it's on a spectrum. So they say like you can find videos of even Mohammed Hijab saying this stuff where there's Sufis that are like more closer to what their kind of lineage, their school of Islam is, and then you have another opposite end of the spectrum where they probably don't agree with all the practices of those Sufis. So I mean, even in the Sufi tradition, there's such a wide spectrum. So how can you then label and group and box them into one thing?
And just a final point on reincarnation is that when Guru Nanak Dev Ji speaks about this in Gurbani, the idea of why reincarnation makes sense and why this idea of the Day of Judgment, burying the bodies, does not make sense. Guru Nanak Dev Ji writes in their own writings in Asa Ke Wad ke Mitti Musliman ki Pere Pai Kumiyar. They say that when somebody dies and they're buried, what happens to their body? It erodes, it decays, and it becomes mitti, it becomes dirt. Then somebody comes along who uses that mitti, who uses that dirt to turn into clay and to make pots. So the Guru was against this idea of, in that case, if you talk about burying the bodies, because there's no attachment to be left with the body. The body is going to erode, the body is going to decay. So I thought I'd just mention that as well, that the Guru, and you'll see that in this video that we're going to be speaking about today that we're reacting to, that when it comes to Sikhi, the Guru is able to comment on practices of other faiths. Because if you talk about in this world, yes, the Guru came afterwards. Of course, that's a deep topic. We have to go all these disclaimers because we believe that the truth has always been there from the start and our Guru is eternal. But if you just talk about in a linear fashion, the Guru came afterwards, right? If you're using that, just that one point. So the Guru can comment on previous practices. But the Hindus, the Muslims, whoever they are, especially these guys that are, trying to fire their shots and distort our history, they can't. What are they going to say? They can't say anything because their faith has nothing to say about our faith, because they came beforehand. And we'll go into why that is the case later on, because he makes some interesting claims later in the video. So if we just keep playing and see what he has to say next.
Now, the reason why this is very improbable is as follows. Islam has a lot of similarities with Christianity and Judaism. Okay. Now, had the Prophet Muhammad come out in the 7th century and said, there is no prophet before me that was revealed or that anything was revealed to in the explicit sense, I was the only one who has ever received revelation in human history. There's no other prophet that came before me. And no prophets. And then all of these similarities existed between Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. An easy case can be made for plagiarism of Islam. It's so easy that it could disprove the religion of Islam. That's how bad it is. There's too many similarities. If that claim was made, that in fact I'm the first person, okay, the Prophet Muhammad said I'm the first person, to ever come with this information directly revealed from God, and that there was no prophet before me, including Jesus and Abraham and Moses. If that was said, and then all of these similarities, then it would be highly improbable for us to believe that this is the case. Okay, I'm sorry to say, that's how it would be. Now, the fact is this. In fact, the Quran says, قُلْ مَا كُنْتُ بِدْعًا مِنَ الرُّسُلِ وَمَا كُنْتُ أَدْرِي مَا يُفْعَلُ بِي وَلَا بِكُمْ. I wasn't something new from the prophets. He said the opposite. I wasn't something new. I don't know what's going to happen to me and you. So the Prophet Muhammad gave credit to previous prophets and messengers. And so when we find similarities between some of the Old Testament, for example, the New Testament, and all these kind of things, we say, okay, that was potentially part of the old revelation that was, disseminated and therefore came to its form now, albeit in a corrupted form. So it makes sense for us for there to be similarity. Had that claim not been made that there were previous prophets, it would be a very highly difficult and improbable case that he was the only prophet that ever came with this information, but yet it happened to be so close to Jewish practice and so close to Christian practice or Christian themes as well. It would be so close but yet so independent. So let's now take this across the board. You've got an individual.
So just in this section here, a lot of it's kind of like, so what's your point basically? What he's alluding to, which we'll mention later on in the video, is that he is saying that within Islam, that Muhammad never claimed that he was the first prophet and he came with his truth. He gives credit to people that came before him. And what he's alluding to later on in the video is that Guru Nanak Dev Ji came on this earth and gave credit to nobody before them and said basically that I've come with the truth now. And is ignoring everything that happened beforehand. But we're not going to go into the depths here. Let's see what he's getting to, what are the points that he's making. But just to get you guys up to date.
The funny thing is, within this, he's already disproven his own argument, this whole Sufi convergence theory. Because he's mentioned Bhagat Farid, who comes from the past, and that the Guru's given credit to them or referenced them. But then at the same time, he's inferring here that the Guru didn't reference anyone and they just came and said everything out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So his own argument, he's dismantled it himself.
Guru Nanak, okay? This individual, he was influenced without a shadow of a doubt by Sufis and by Hinduism. He had a peer who is called Bhagat Farid, whose works were so important, okay? And this is extremely damaging to any theological claim of independence. It's actually impossible. That Bhagat Farid's works are in the Guru Granth Sahib. They're in the GGS. They're actually he's quoted inside of it. Now, why is he quoted inside of the GGS? Is he speaking on behalf of God? He's a Muslim. He in fact prays 5 times a day. He does a dhikr. And this brings me to my second point. There are practices and beliefs in
So here he's talking about 3 points. The first one is that 100% without a shadow of a doubt, he says that Sikh is influenced by Islam and Hinduism. And he says that Bhagat Farid Ji was a peer of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And why are Bhagat Farid Ji's writings in Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Right? So that's probably the 2 main points that he's making, right? Again, when it comes to the first point about Sikh being influenced by Hindu and Islam, give us examples, right? Give us examples of where this has been the case. He's just taken the idea of reincarnation and Onkar from earlier.
He's taken these very vague, broad ideas and he's just grouped them together. So he's made this definition in his head under his own like kind of Islamic thought or process and that framework, and he's tried to apply that same thing. But if you use this logical argument on any other philosophy or religion, you could apply it anywhere, right? You could apply it to Islam as well.
And let's actually look at the facts. Let's look at Sikh scripture, as in Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and let's look at Sikh history as well to support that. So when Guru Nanak Dev Ji, at the age of 5, or some sources say 7, when they went to school, and let's just start with the Hindus here, right? When they went to go learn Hindi, the Varnamala, as in the Hindi alphabet, in that case you could say they're going to learn from a quote-unquote Hindu teacher, Pandit Gopal Ji was their name, right? When Guru Nanak Dev Ji went there, they asked their teacher, tell me the meaning of each letter. And the teacher was unable to do that. Tell me the meaning of each letter of the Hindi alphabet. And the Pandit Gopal Ji was unable to do that. And that's when Guru Nanak Dev Ji recited a prayer known as Patti Likhi, right? Which is where they gave us the Varnamala, the Gurumukhi Punjabi alphabet, the 35 letters, and the Guru explained what each letter means, right? Of the Gurumukhi Varnamala alphabet.
So they taught their teacher?
Yes.
At what age was this?
At the age of 5, or some sources say 7, right? So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and the Shabad in Gurbani, one of the Shabads, Dadda Dosna Deo ke se dos karama apanya, right? They say, now what does Dadda mean? The letter D, even though there's like 4 Ds in Gurumukhi Punjabi. They say, don't blame anybody else. Take responsibility for your own actions, right? So they were giving teachings to their teacher, and they were questioning the practices at that time. At the age of 5 or 7, they even introduced us with this Gurumukhi script that we have, right? So that was developed later on.
Even that is crazy. At the age of 5, the Guru made a whole different script and they were educating their teacher. They're meant to be going to school to learn.
And then later on, after they basically finished school within like a couple of days from Panda Gopalji, their father sent them to learn Farsi from Qutbuddin, right? And when they went to learn Farsi, I think the first letter
So
is like
who was that? Qutbuddin?
Qutbuddin is the Maulvi, right? So in that case, it's like just be very simple, the Muslim priest who would teach Farsi.
Yep.
I think the first letter is Aleph, if I'm correct, right? Or Farsi. And within a day or two, Guru Nanak Dev Ji already mastered that. And then they went quiet, right? Guru Sahib would do this in their young age, where they would do these interesting acts, right? That was not the norm of children. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji went quiet, and then the teacher said that, you're not speaking anymore, but I've heard that people always speak to you about Rab, about Waheguru.
About God.
And then can you speak to him about God? And that's when Guru Sahib Ji, at the age again, between 5 to 7, recite the Shabad in Telangarag, which comes in the middle of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and it says, Yak Arj Guftam, Pesto, Dargos Kun Kartar. Right? Hakka Kabir Kareem Tu Be'ab Parvadagar. The Guru recites a Shabad in Farsi as well, right? So again, when you talk about influence, his scripture and his history combined, where the Guru is not being influenced, the Guru is influencing. They're influencing people of other faiths and giving them Sikhya, giving them teachers, even when Guru Sahib Ji gets a bit older. And they, again, in Sultanpur Sahib, which is the second city they were based in, which today sits in Punjab, India, right? Well, even though that doesn't matter, they went to the mosque, and when the Muslims were doing the namaz, they taught them how to do the namaz properly. In terms of their mind was not there, they weren't focusing. When Guru Nanak Ji went to Jagannath Puri, which was where the Hindus were based, and they said to him, you're not doing arti in the correct way. Right? In terms of this whole dunya, the whole creation is doing arti, is worshipping the divine. So when he says that the Guru was influenced, that's not the case. Even when Guru Nanak Ji went to Mecca, Guru Nanak Ji went there as well, and they gave Sikhya there. They went to the epicenter of Islam, and they gave teachings there. So how can you make a case for Sikhs being, or the Guru being influenced by these two faiths, when in fact it was the complete opposite?
But do you know what it is? It's just a real lack of understanding of what Sikhi really is. He's never studied or understood what Sikhi, what Gurbani says. And it goes back to that fundamental concept that they're never going to be able to comprehend or accept, which is the Guru is God, is the divine manifestation of God. They are one with God, which they will never accept. And we actually celebrate that the Bhagats are in Gurbani. He actually says this is damaging, right? For us, this is proof of what the Gurus came to teach us. This is the evidence of what the Gurus came to give. They've given reference to people who were enlightened, like Bhagat Farid Ji or even Bhagat Kabir Ji.
It's a good point. And in terms of when he speaks about Bhagat Farid Ji and his words being damaging President Guru Granth Sahib Ji, yes, their writings are added. It doesn't make a case for Islam. It makes a case for spiritual wisdom. Tika? So it's differentiating between the two. Right? And the writings of other Bhagats, other poets, and other Guru Sikhs are also in Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. But just one interesting point here. Right? I could understand what he's trying to say if one of the Prophet's writings were in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Or one of the Devi Devtas, in that case, it comes later in the video. He says that there's 124,000 different prophets, right? And the last one in that case being Muhammad, right? There's 30 crore Devi Devta. There's 330 million different demigods, if you want to use that definition. But none of their writings are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, right? Who you could say are seen as the key messengers of those faiths, or the gods and the prophets and so on. So why weren't their writings added to Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Right? When it comes to someone like Bhagat Farid Ji, who's not seen as a mainstream Sikh Muslim, fair enough, some of their practices were in line with what Muslims did, but we see later on, what does Guru Nanak Dev Ji say about those practices as well?
And even Bhagat Kabir Ji, right? You could say he was from a Muslim background, but a lot of his Bani is criticizing Muslims and criticizing these false practices that they were doing at the time.
Even the Bhagats, their writings that were in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, fantastic point. Like Bhagat Farid Ji speaks out against the caste system. Right? They speak out against all the hypocrisy. Bhagat Nanak Dev Ji, again, these so-called people, because his claim here is that if a Muslim's writings are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, then,
it's damaging.
It's damaging. But then at the same time, if the Hindus' writings are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, you can make the same case. The Hindus can make the same case. But the writings that are in there they're speaking out against the hypocrisy that is being followed in that faith, even to the point where one of the Bhagats, Bhagat Nanak Dev Ji, they were kicked out of the mandir. They were shunned. They were told you cannot come in to this mandir.
If he's saying that Sikhi is an amalgamation of Islam, right, and Hinduism, and he's given Bhagat Farid Ji as his reference, who was, you could say, is like a fringe of what Islam, modern day Islam, would consider, why isn't the main prophet of the religion, Prophet Muhammad's writings in the Guru Granth Sahib? If it's an amalgamation of Islam, why isn't the Prophet's words in the Guru Granth Sahib?
And that's why when we refer to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it's a whole topic for another day. But we don't look at Guru Granth Sahib Ji as a book. Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Shabad Guru, right? The words.
It's the word of God.
But also it's the home of God. Oti Parameshwar Ka Than. This Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji, Guru, is the home of God, in which the devotees of Bhagats also found a place because they were rejected from the mainstream. They were rejected from the world because of their teachings.
We believe the Guru is the complete truth.
Yeah.
Right? And over the centuries, people came with partial truths or truths which may have got hidden, right? But they didn't have the complete. And just like he was saying at the start, that we should just be genuine and authentic, like Islam might believe that they're the truth. In the same way, obviously, we are going to believe that Sikhi is the complete truth. It's not an attack on them or anything like that. It's just what we believe. And you can't put us into your framework, into your box, and then when it doesn't fit, when Sikhi doesn't fit into that box, then say that Sikhi is wrong. That doesn't make any sense. The whole premise falls apart from the start.
Even this idea of giving credit
Yeah.
to the people beforehand, right? The prophets and so on. I guess my question is why? Whose message is it? It's Guruji's message. It's God's message. It's Allah's message. It's Khuda's message. There's no difference. It's one God, many names, right? One entity, one being. Why would you give credit to the messenger when you can give credit to the one whose message it is? And that is the difference here, right? The Guru is always connecting us back to the one, to Ik. So it's interesting because I know a lot of times these lot try to focus on this idea of they think the Sikhs, the Gurus are the middleman, right? Cut the middleman out, go straight to Allah, go straight to God, go straight to Guru. That's what we're doing. So we don't need to give credit to the messengers beforehand. We do acknowledge them, right? And of course, you could say reference to them with the Bhagats, if that's one way of looking at it as well. But when the Guru does acknowledge certain entities or beings before them, they do in a different way, right? So actually, Guru Gobind Singh Ji does speak about Muhammad. It comes in our writings. The Guru Gobind Singh Ji speaks about the deities, but in a different way. So there's two references I'll give here. The first one that every Sikh reads every day, Paenge he jabate tumare, tabate ko aakh tere nahi aanyo. Ram Rahim Puranu Quran, anek kahe mat ek na manyo. Right? We read that every single day. What Guru Gobind Singh Ji says there to Vaheguru, to God, is that when I fell in your feet, then I didn't care about what anybody else had to say or what they did say. Ram Rahim Puranu Quran. Ram Rahim. Again, whatever names were given from the Hindu practice or the Muslim practice. Quran, the philosophical texts, scripts of the Hindu faith, Abrahamic faiths. Quran, aneka kahe. They say many things, but mat ek na manyo. Like again, the Guru says that in that case, one week say don't accept them or I don't even acknowledge them, right? The Guru is saying that I only accept what Guruji says. That is the complete and ultimate truth.
So this one pankti itself disproves the whole video of Mohammed Hijab, right? This pankti in itself is saying the Guru rejects ultimately what Islam and Hinduism is saying. So by the definition of the Guru's own words, you can see this is what the Guru taught.
And to go into more detail there, like I said earlier, where does the Guru speak about these different individuals? Mahadev referring to Shiva, Shivji, Achyuta Kahayo. Right, that he saw himself as the pure one, right? As he called himself Rab.
So Mahadev being the Hindu kind of deity, you could say, right?
Of the one of destruction, right? Bisan apahi ko teherayo. Bisan here refers to Vishnu. Apahi themselves ko teherayo. He placed himself on that supreme seat. He said that I am the one, right? The one who's known as the sustainer, right? And then Brahma apa pad Brahma bakana. Then Brahma, referring to the creator, Brahma, called himself Par Brahm. Said, I'm not Brahm, I'm the supreme Brahm. I'm the supreme creator. Prabhu ko Prabhu na kinuhu jana. But nobody realized the true one, the one who made them, which is God. So that's the Guru's reference to the kind of the three main entities that you see in the Hindu faith, right? Mainly people tend to worship Shiva because nobody wants to die, right? So they pray to the one of destruction, like, let death stay away from me. But that's why in India, majority of the mandirs that you see will be for Shivji.
Or Vishnu as well.
Yeah, but not for Brahma because he's kind of done his job, right? And that's kind of done. Then Guru Gobind Singh Ji later on, we did this in the last reaction video, they speak about Muhammad as well. Mahadin tab prab uparaja arab desh ko kino raja Then Vaiguruji created or brought onto this earth Muhammad, right? Mahadin, Arabadesh, right? In the area of the Arabs, right? Arabia. Tinipi Eka Pant Uparaja, and they create this path, right? Ling Banaki ne Sabaraja, where they circumcised all the kings, right? This idea of circumcision, is common in Islam. And the key point here, but this doesn't just go for Muhammad, it goes for everyone beforehand, because if the theme is, that's the theme. Sabte apana naam japayo, sat naam kahuna diradayo. They say that all these people that came, including Muhammad, sabte apana naam japayo. They connected people to themselves, to their own name. And one example of that, if you look in this video, and the whole video of Mohammed Hijab, all he keeps speaking about are the prophets and the prophets that came beforehand. Where's your discussion on the one? Where's the discussion on Allah? Well, it's always about the prophets, this prophet talked about this prophet and this prophet. We're saying go beyond the messengers and connect directly to the message, connect directly to the one. And the last point, because I could talk forever, I get a bit excited on these topics, but the idea of these different beings that came beforehand, they came with a message, they were sent to deliver a message, and for whatever reason, that message was distorted, maybe because in this case, like he said, let's just be honest, right? People even say things like Chinese whispers, right? One person gives a message, angel gives a message to a prophet of whatever faith, whatever background. With Sikhi, the messages come directly from Vaiguru. There's no middleman, there's no angel and then prophet and then human. The message came straight through the vessel of the Guru.
Turki Bani
Ai, right? Torto Ai, come from the origin. Jaisi mein aave khasam ki bani taisara kari gyan ve lalo. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, as these words come to me, I speak them. Torah, it's come from the origin. There's no middleman. The Guru was the vessel, Vaiguruji is the ocean, one analogy, and the Guru is the wave. What is the difference? They're both made of water.
And the interesting point here also is all of the words of the Guru were documented and written in front of the Guru, in their presence, by the Guru and approved by the Guru as well. We could say in that sense of authenticity, right? We have the most authentic scripture that was not only came from the Guru, but checked and approved by the Guru.
Which you don't see in other faiths, right? Which is the truth. And just one last point on this, when it comes back to the truth and this idea of being distorted, you mentioned this briefly earlier in terms of the idea of other religions having elements of the truth. And yeah, we believe that. They have elements of the truth. That's why if you look at Sikhi and you made this argument for amalgamation, it's not an amalgamation, it's the complete truth. And those elements can be found in other religions, in other faiths, in other backgrounds. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Baghdad, right, which is in Iraq, Guru Nanak Dev Ji went there and they recited a shabad and they sang that shabad. Patala, patala, lakha, agasa, agas. And obviously the people of that area, being Muslims, first were against the idea of singing, right? So they came to actually stone Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They came to actually try and in that case kill Guru Nanak Dev Ji for saying this, because the Guru was saying that there's hundreds of thousands of heavens and hundreds of thousands of hells. And when they were saying this, they're like, how can you say that? They said that you're calling Muhammad a liar. And what did the Guru say? The Guru said, no, I never call Muhammad a liar. If Mohammed Sahib has only seen 7 heavens and 7 hells, that is his version of the truth.
That's his experience of what he's seen, right?
Yes. But if somebody else sees 8, 9, 10, 1,000, hundreds of thousands, countless, then that's their truth. And in that case, that is the ultimate truth.
It depends on what kind of spiritual kind of avastha you would say you're at, what level, right? And it's like comes back to that analogy of the blind men trying to find out what shape of the elephant is. Like, what do you define as the elephant?
Yeah.
And one is touching the tail, one is touching the trunk, one is touching the leg, and they're all saying, no, I'm right, I'm right.
Yep.
But really they're all blind and they don't see the complete truth, which is what the Guru is saying here, that maybe you might see one small part of this area, and yeah, that's true, that part of the area is true, what you're seeing, that's your experience. But the Guru is saying here, no, this is the complete truth.
I think people really have a difficult time trying to define the Guru.
Yeah.
And that's what probably really kind of gets to them, right? Because again, our Guru is beyond, they're beyond, right? They're beyond any explanation. We can try, but we can't. And there's just 2 more examples that we move on, because I can talk forever. Is when Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Multan, an area when they're going on the Udasis, their travels, the people of the village came out and they filled you could just say like a bowl right to the top with milk. And they were basically saying to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, we're full. We've got enough saints, we've got enough teachings, everything. And what did Guru Nanak Dev Ji do? They went into their pocket and they took out some jasmine petals, right? And they placed them on top. The Guru's not come to add anything. The truth has been here from the start of time. right?
Because that's I was going to ask you that question actually. That if we believe that the other religions have some elements of the truth, but Sikhi is a complete truth, why don't we want everyone to just become a Sikh then?
This is a great question. And it comes back to a point about the idea of they struggle to define Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They struggle to define Sikhi. Sikhi is not a religion. Sikhi is the path back to the one. So for that reason, whoever applies the principles of truth in their lives, then they will get closer to that one.
Yep.
ठीक है? So it's that simple. That's why when Guru Nanak Dev Ji came and they put the petals on top, they're saying, I've come to make things more beautiful. Right? Tin eh kalamo dharam chalayo, sab sadhana ko raho batayo. That's what Guru Gobind Singh Ji writes about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji came in this dark age of Kal Yug. Why is it the dark age? Because ignorance is pradhan. Ignorance is supreme. Sab sadhana ko raho batayo. Guru Nanak Dev Ji has come to put everybody back on that path. Raho batayo. They've come to show them the path. That people came beforehand, but they came with elements of the truth, but it ended up going down a different path. Right? Veda meh naam uttam so sunahe nahi. Even in Anand Sahib, which is the prayer written by the third Guru, they say even in the Veds they speak about this naam. So sunahe nahi. Vede jo betalia. Everybody's wandering around lost. Right? So the Guru came to put everybody back on the path. And that's again when it comes to the idea of the Guru, like we said, the Guru is not a messenger. Respectfully, the Guru is not like Postman Pat, coming to deliver a message. The Guru is the wave that has come from the ocean. And now Vaheguru, God, Allah, has not sent anybody else. They've come themselves. Santa ke karaj aap khloya har kam karavan ayaram. That God has come themselves now to resolve the affairs of the saints, because whoever came beforehand, they did what they could, but they were unable to complete the mission of Vaheguru Parameshwar. And now Vaheguru Ji came themselves as the ocean, took upon a form as the wave, and interacted with its creation. Right? And just like when the wave comes out and it goes onto land, it takes things back into the water. And those that interact with the wave, they go back into the ocean.
And I really like that analogy because the Guru is the wave and they're the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? We've put this definition, this label on a wave, that it's separate from the ocean. But really, the water is the same.
Yeah.
The ocean and the wave is the same, just like the same way. God, whatever we define, like we don't believe God is someone sitting in the clouds who's judging us, who's separate from creation, right? We believe that they are existence. God is existence, and the Guru is part of God.
It's both in it. They're separate, they're parts. And they're going to aap, sadguna pi, ohi. Right? As soon as we start to put a limit on Vaheguru, on God, Allah, whatever name you want to give to them, we've already failed. Right? Yeah. They are without any limits. Right? So that's a lot for that section. If we go to the next part now, let's see what Mohammed Hijab continues to say.
There are practices and beliefs in Sikhism which are too close to Islam for you to say that it was independently discovered despite it. Let me say that again.
Say again.
And you know this. Every single Sikh listening to me who's seeking the truth knows what I'm talking about. There are 3 fixed times for prayers. And then in that you can pray actually 5 times if you space it out. And you have to wash yourself before you pray.
So again, the one premise he's made here, assumption, is that Sikhi was discovered, or the Gurus discovered these teachings. But if you reject that premise, his argument falls apart. When did we ever say that Sikhi discovered these things? We actually say the opposite. We say the Guru was true. This truth was there from the start.
And he's mentioned about 6 pray at 3 fixed times in the day, but it can be spread to 5 times. What does that even mean? This is what they do, right? So a lot of the Sikh scholars have got together and they've looked at different types of debate tactics or arguments that people use. And one of them is rapidly firing off an excessive number of half-truths, miscitations, and fabrications to psychologically fatigue the opponent. And this is kind of what he's doing right now, right? He mentions this point about we pray 3 times a day, but you can space it to 5 times a day, which makes no sense, right? Sikhs pray 3 times a day, right? Once in the morning, right? Where in the morning we do 5 prayers. That's the minimum, by the way, yeah? This kind of reminds me of something.
Look at the teachings, the practices of the Sikh. Okay, they pray 5 times a day.
What?
Yes. And they follow the same time. They follow the same time. Fajr,
You gotta be kidding me.
Zuhur, Asar, Wallahi.
No
Wallahi,
way, bro. You
right?
just dropped Wallahi as well.
Isha.
That's from that video, right? So he's saying the same thing, but we already answered this. Sikhs pray in the morning, in the evening, and before bed. But that's the minimum. The aim is to pray to that one, connect to that one with every single breath.
24/7.
Simro Gobin, right? So I don't know where he's got that from.
Yeah.
And the next thing he talks about is that
There's more like Visarna hi data, Rapana nam deo, Gunagava din raat. Yeah, so that Nanak Chawe ho, that day and night, even when you're sleeping, you should be remembering the one.
yeah, Uthata, Baithata, Sovata Nam, right? When you're standing, when you're sitting, when you're sleeping, always be connected to the one. It's just you have to have a minimum, a standard, which is 3 times a day, and then you build from there.
But again, this is the fundamental difference, which he's never going to be able to comprehend, is our aim and goal here is to experience the one.
Yeah.
Through this meditation, through this prayer, through connecting with the Guru's Bani, right?
And then he speaks about this idea of Ishnan,
Yeah.
bathing, washing before you pray, because apparently they own it. As in Muslims.
They invented taking a bath. That's what it seems.
They invented the balti in it,
Yeah.
in which you put the jug in and then you have the bath, right? Bro, people been doing this for thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
It's just silly arguments, right? That again, how are you gonna just claim that we've copied how you guys bathe? Everyone knows who follows any form of spirituality, prayer or practice, that before you pray, the important thing to do is keep cleanliness of the body and also of the mind as well. So let's see what he says next. So these are just some excessive number of half-truths, right? So again, it's half-truth because there's some truth in it. Yeah, we do pray 3 times a day, but it's not 5, it's not stretched out to 5 times a day. I don't know, have you ever stretched out your Rera side? And
Maybe. Don't ask me.
maybe.
Don't ask me, yeah.
But yeah, obviously in that case, no, we've not in it. He's joking. It's a different type of joke, right? In case he makes a reaction and says, "Oh, I told you," kind of thing, innit? So and then he says a few more things here.
You have to wash yourself before you pray. You have to respect the Guru Granth Sahib in a similar way that we have to respect the Quran. You do a dhikr, which is essentially the same thing, remembering God and saying his name, which is actually quite close to the Sufi practice, probably influenced by Bhagat Farid.
So let's go to the Quran and Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And he said that we respect the Guru Granth Sahib Ji in the same way that the Muslims respect the Quran. Not at all. Of course, we will show respect to a Quran.
Yep.
I've got a Quran at home, right? I've got a Bible at home. And I keep them in a respectful place. I wouldn't give the same amount of respect that I gave to a Quran or a Bible that I'll give to Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, because we would never put Guru Granth Sahib Ji on the shelf. I never put Guru Granth Sahib Ji in my bag. I never carry Guru Granth Sahib Ji in my hands or like in my armpit area, right? Even to the point where once I was speaking to somebody who's doing dawah, who's trying to convert me, right? And he was reading the Quran to me, and when he opened the Quran and he was going to turn the page, he licked his finger and then he turned the page of the Quran. And I thought to myself that these are meant to be the words of God, right? Or the divine message.
How can you put your saliva
On that? That's not a disrespect to Islam. That's just, if you guys see this as the word of God, then how can you do that?
We have a fundamental difference of how we comprehend and how we treat Gurbani. The Guru's word is God,
Yeah.
right? We would never ever put saliva or treat the Guru's
Shabad
word
Guru.
like that. Yeah.
So in that case, when we carry Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we'd carry them on our head, in the highest part of our body, to show that they are higher than everything else. And then the final point is about the zikr as well, right? And look, it's very simple, right? If a Muslim sincerely does their zikr, that's beautiful. And if a Sikh sincerely does their simran, and the Christian sings their hymns or whatever it is, that's beautiful. Why do we need to take any further and say, oh, you copied me, I copied you, all this kind of stuff? Everyone has their own relationship with the one. And the key thing here again,
Even Hindus do that. Hindus do Ram, Jap of Ram, or whoever it is that they worship. Hinduism came before Islam, right? So he's saying that you got zikr from Hindus then, this concept, because you can apply that same logic to Islam.
Yeah.
So if Hindus were doing zikr, you could say that term of meditation on the one, and then Muslims came later and started doing it. Did they plagiarize that from Hindus? And then secondly, even the word Allah, that came way before Islam. It was actually Arabic Christians who said the word Allah. So are you saying that you plagiarize that from those other religions, or other faiths?
no, because they get credit. So then obviously, then because they give credit, then it doesn't count as plagiarism.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's just crazy, right? And then if we just move on to the next stuff that he's going to say now, some more quote-unquote truths.
Whereas like MacLeod and others, they will say this is a clear influence. Yes. If you want to deny that, you have an improbable case to make. Because why? How could it be that a religion, which is not a universalist religion, okay, your religion stayed in the Punjab? That's why you don't find black Sikhs that.
So we're not a universal religion because we stayed in Punjab and there's no such thing as a black Sikh.
Any African Sikhs or this white Sikh in the Punjab. How could it be that a religion which is not a universalist religion, okay, your religion stayed in the Punjab? That's why you don't find black Sikhs that many. African Sikhs or this white Sikhs. You find people, Sikhs are majority Punjabi nation. It's not a universalist or cosmopolitan religion. It just so happened that for all these years, thousands of years of human civilization, that we were left without guidance from God. God didn't communicate with any prophet, any messenger in a direct and explicit way. Okay, he did not communicate. And in the 15th century, he decided to communicate with Guru Nanak in the Punjab region. And then that wasn't even made into a universalist religion. Be honest, do you believe that? Wallahi, that's false. Uqsum billah al-azim. You know and I know that's false. Uqsum billah al-azim. Wallahi, that is incorrect. That's inconceivable. Now, if you say, well, do you know what? You're making a good case.
First of all, we know what wallahi means, right? Because we all went to school and all of our Muslim mates used to say wallahi all the time. But not to say, obviously, people have a faith and swear oaths or swear on their God as well. It's like, bro, calm down. Why do you need to drop the wallahi and take it that far, right? Because, yeah, it's not true. We agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Because what you're saying is false.
yeah, what you're saying is false. That's not what Sikhs believe in either. Right? We don't preach that. We don't believe that. So when he says, first of all, that Sikhs are not universal of religion, faith in that case, right? Because why? Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji stayed in Punjab, and first he goes, there's no black Sikhs, but then he goes, there's not that many black Sikhs or white Sikhs, and so on and so on. First of all, Guru Nanak Dev Ji stayed in Punjab for the first, I'd say about 20, 30 years of their life. They were born in a place known as Raipur Ki Talwandi, known as Nankana Sahib today, which sits on the Pakistan side of India, Punjab, sorry. And then they moved to Sultanpur Sahib, which is in Punjab, is on the India side. Then Guru Nanak Dev Ji, for the next 30 years, 40 years, depending on the source that you read, Guru Nanak Dev Ji traveled the world, right? They traveled to many places spreading this message, the divine message of truth, the complete truth, right? Because people were seeking the truth, like you said earlier, right? So Guru Nanak Dev Ji went across the whole of Hindustan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Sangala, which is known as Sri Lanka today. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Afghanistan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Iraq. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Iran. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to all these different places and spread that truth. So when you say it's a universal faith, Guru Nanak Dev Ji did more prachar than Jesus. I think Jesus only did prachar for like 3 years, people say. They spread the message for 3 years. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spread the message for over 70 years. From the age of 5 to the age of all the way into their 70s.
And they were probably the most well-traveled kind of...
I can make an easy claim that Guru Nanak is more traveled than all the prophets.
Yeah.
Some cases, people say that Guru Nanak is the most traveled person in the whole world by foot. Right? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj didn't even just speak one language. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke many, many languages. I've mentioned to you earlier, they spoke in Hindi, they spoke the language of Sanskrit, they spoke in Farsi. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke so many different languages and dialects of the time, and you're saying that Sikhi is not universal.
And that's an important point, right? Because even the Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the words of the Guru, the foundations or the base of a lot of the Guru's words are from all these other languages, right? Like people from, is it Marathi and Hindi and Farsi, Arabic, all these different traditions, all these cultures, the Guru spoke to them in their languages, and that's what's in the Guru Granth Sahib. So how can you say it's not universal?
It's the most universal.
Yeah, if you were to look at the Quran, that's only in Arabic.
Yeah.
That's only in one language.
And Gurumukhi is a script in that case, right? It's not really a language. Because in the Gurumukhi script, i.e. in Guru Granth Sahib, that's why you have these different languages and dialects. So you'll find Shabad the Yak Arjuguftam Pesto. That's a Shabad in Farsi in the Gurumukhi script. So that's next level. Right? No one can compete with that, with this Turki Bani in that case. And also, we don't call the Guru of the Sikhs. We say Guru Nanak Dev Ji, all the Gurus, the 10 physical Gurus that came, or in this case our scripture, Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they are known as Jagat Guru. They're known as the Guru of the entire world. Right? So we don't even say that they're the Guru of the Sikhs in that case, right? And if we just come to his point about then, so why is there not many black or white Sikhs? There are. So shout out to the Finding Sikhi series, which you can watch on BoS TV as well.
Yeah, we've started highlighting these stories because a lot of people maybe don't see them quite often. But actually, if you travel a bit, you see there's a lot of people from other faiths who have, or backgrounds who've kind of converted, you could say, or have become Sikh.
Sikh in that case is so universal, because again, it's not religion, that even the epicenter of Sikhi, Sri Harmandir Sahib, is the most visited place in the entire world.
Even that, right? The Harmandir Sahib is built with 4 doors.
Yeah.
Why is it built with 4 doors? Because we accept everyone from any caste, background, religion.
Corners of the world.
Everyone is welcome to Sri Harmandir Sahib because it's a universalist religion. It applies to everyone, these teachings. Whereas if you were to compare that to Mohammed Hijab's faith here. Mecca, only Muslims are allowed to go there now.
Yeah.
Right? So how
how
can
can
you
you
say
say
it's a
universal?
universalist? One of the largest free kitchens in the whole world is at Sri Darbar Sahib, Harmandir Sahib,
Yeah.
where they feed people from every background. And one other key point here is that Islam is 1400 years old. They've had 1400 years to grow and to expand. And you could argue a lot of the original expansion of Islam was through like the caliphate and these kind of empires. Whereas Sikhi is 400-500 years old. We're only getting started. Give us 800 years and we'll see who's talking.
Yeah, but even like, you know, we made this comment in the other video about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
In that case that, you know, yeah, we're still young. We've been oppressed for a lot of our history as well, right? And we don't force people to convert. We don't coerce them, right?
Yeah.
It's not about numbers, right? We're not going to get caught up in numbers. If that's the case, then look, McDonald's is the most popular or most visited restaurant, fast food chain in the world. It doesn't mean it's the best food in the world. Let's not get caught up in numbers here, okay? Just because it's more of a certain group, it doesn't necessarily mean that means that the complete truth is there. So many things that happen in history where I think for a long time people thought the world was flat.
Yeah.
Right?
Just
not to go into that debate now.
Just because majority of people thought the world is flat or was the epicenter of the solar system doesn't mean that they're right.
Exactly.
You know?
We don't need, a truth doesn't need a salesman. Yeah. Sikhi spreads, for example, through sharing love and again, putting people on that path. If somebody takes upon the qualities of Sikhi, but they don't change their label, it doesn't matter to us. Yeah. Sikh is not here to change your label, it's here to change your actions. Yep. Let me repeat that, because he said it himself, we'll go repeat this a few times. Let me make that clear. Sikh is not here to change your label, it's here to change your actions. It's here to change your gun, your qualities. Take up more divine qualities and renounce these disgusting qualities of ego, of pride, of being so full of yourself.
So again, it goes back to the whole lens is just completely different. I don't know how many times we have to say this, and their thing is they're never going to understand or comprehend or align with what we're saying. But the Guru came here to transform human lives, to transform them, to connect with that divine that's within them. And one other point here I wanted to make is what the Guru say is all of humanity is one. So that's where, if you were to say Sikhi is a universal religion, there's your evidence. The Guru is saying all of humanity is one. The Guru is the Guru for the whole world. You can't get more universal than that.
100%. And just the final point of that, which you've already mentioned about are you saying that only God chose to interact with the world when Guru Nanak Dev Ji came in the world? And he goes, Wallahi, that is not true. And he said these other words in his language. We don't believe that. We've never said that. Like at the start of the video, the Guru has already acknowledged other individuals that came beforehand, and it's in scripture as well. They came with the truth, elements of the truth, but unfortunately it was distorted or didn't have the complete truth. So the fact that he can so easily just swear an oath or whatever Wallahi specifically translates to, it's like to use God's name so cheaply. Do you get what I mean? It's like, think our concept is different, that God is always interacting with creation.
And the evidence is what he himself has brought forward about Bhagat Farid Ji. They were someone who connected with that divine truth. They realized the divine, the oneness. And now we've got that. That's the evidence for us. That's the evidence for us.
That's why, like you said, like we say, Ad such, Jugad such, Happy such, Nanako CP such. The truth was here before the start of time. When time started, throughout time, at the end of time, when time ends, the truth will always reside. Vaheguru, God, Allah, whatever name you have for them, will always be interacting with the creation at all times. And again, if you go back to Gurbani, Guru Nanak Dev Ji speaks about this. They say, Hindu anna, tuduku kana. He said that the Hindu is blind, right? Because they don't have faith. They don't have complete faith. They've lost their faith in that case. And also, they don't have this gyan, this knowledge that there's only one God. Right? They've got caught up in multiple deities. And they say, Turuku kana. Turuku here referring to the Muslims. They say they're one-eyed. Why they're one-eyed? Because they have such great faith, but they have this one thing lacking. They can't see that God is not just somebody that's separate from creation, that came and interacted once on certain occasions and now they've left the world. Vaheguru Ji is always interacting with their creation. Vaheguru Ji is not just the unphysical, they are the physical as well. They're everything, right? And that's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji has to say about these faiths or these individuals, that some of them are completely blind and some of them in that case are missing one eye. Okay, let's see what he has to say next.
Here, okay. However, we are not saying, this could be the counter argument, that this is completely independent. Maybe God did speak to Muhammad. Well, if God did speak to Muhammad, he also said to him that you're the final prophet, which means that if he spoke to Muhammad, and in fact, revelation was given to him, sallallahu, he told us that there's not going to be any prophet after me. So Muhammad has closed the door for Guru Nanak. That's the fact. He's closed the door for anybody after him. So you cannot argue for Guru Nanak whilst believing that this was an actual revelation given to Muhammad. Do you see the point here? So you're in a predicament. So if you really want the truth, my message to you, Sikhs, is seek the truth. And once again, I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm being honest here. Be honest. Intellectually, does it make sense that a religion in the Punjab region, okay, somehow amalgamated and synthesized two religions that were prominent and present in that time, in that period, and made it into one book, yet doesn't give ultimate credit to those two religions, that those two religions had some direct link to God? Nah, this is impossible.
So
it's actually laughable. I'm sorry to say, this claim.
The funny thing here is when he says, it's basically a circular argument, right? What he's saying is Islam is true because the Prophet said it's true, and the Prophet said, I am the last Prophet. So it's just purely a circular. He's using his own sources, his own reasoning to prove himself.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't accept that in the first place.
We don't fit in his box or his framework.
That's like saying, oh, Liverpool Football Club is the best football club because their fan club said it in their book. It doesn't make any sense. No, of course it's not.
But he's also doing, because we were looking into tactics, what these people use, and hopefully in the future we're going to be releasing a video where we actually look at people that tried to convert people and look at their techniques. What techniques are they using to basically convince somebody or persuade them or confuse them? And what he's doing here is that he's moving the goalpost. So the first thing he's doing is that he's saying that, how can you say that Guru Nanak Dev Ji came, 500 years ago, and before that God never spoke to anybody, right? And then we say, no, we're not saying that. Of course, God came, before and spoke to individuals like Muhammad. So we agree. We agree that, Muhammad is a prophet. And then they say, oh, you agree then? Then they move the goalpost now. And they say, so if you agree that Muhammad is a prophet, and that God was sent him, then you have to agree with what Muhammad said, and he said that I'm the last prophet. But like Guru Singh said, we don't agree with that, right? We don't fit into your framework of what you're saying. Yeah, Muhammad came, he came with a message, but like we said, it wasn't the complete truth. It was distorted.
Exactly. You're allowed to acknowledge something in the past without giving it full validity, right? And that's the thing here. We're not giving, Sikhi doesn't give them full validity and say that, look, whatever he said is 100% true. We're acknowledging that he existed. We acknowledge that he had a mission, and that he actually, the Guru will say, he didn't complete or fulfill that mission.
Yep. And even this idea that Muhammad closed the door for Guru Nanak Dev Ji, bro, they're not even in the same building, right? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's building, the Bard, is completely far away from Muhammad. Yeah. So we're not even in the same room, bro. So it's just that same thing again of distorting, exaggerating, or misrepresenting Sikhi, which is what he's done. And then he gets quite emotional, says, Wallahi, and these kind of things. This isn't true. Because it isn't true. This isn't what we say. This is what you're making up about Sikhi. So, And I think we're coming to the end of the video now. So let's see what is the final thing that Mohammed Hijab has to say.
It's impossible. You don't believe that.
I know we don't
you
believe that.
You do not believe that. And if Wallahi, if you try to make yourself believe that, then you are
we're not trying to make ourselves believe that. So it's okay, bro. You can calm down.
Only duping and fooling yourself.
And you're fooling yourself. I'm fooling the people by saying that we believe that because you don't believe that.
It's an implausible case, my friend. And that is why Sikhism is an unattractive intellectual proposition for the rest of humankind. Because they can't see. There has to be continuity. That's why people convert to Islam. And that's why we invite you to Islam. Islam says that Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, all of these, and in fact, 124,000 prophets and messengers. We have a hadith. 124,000 prophets were sent, all to their people in their place. Because God wants people to be guided. He wouldn't leave people not guided for thousands of years of human civilization. What's the point of us being alive even if God's not communicating with us? Why do we have to wait 15 centuries? Actually, more than that. Thousands of years before Guru Nanak comes up and tells us how to live our life. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense because, like we said, he's just using the same argument and adding things onto it later on to make more of his point. Again, we don't say that.
Even if his whole point of continuity, right? He mentioned that they believe that Jesus was a Muslim, right? A lot of these guys say that. If you speak to the Christians, they don't agree with that. So where's your continuity? If the Christians themselves are saying, no, Jesus wasn't a Muslim, then where is your continuity? You've just put it in your own framework, your own idea.
100%. And if you want to talk about continuity, again, you can apply the same logic to Sikhi then,
Yep.
which is that the Bhagats that came from before the Guru gave that message. That was, in that case, continuous with when the Guru came. But let's just put the Bhagats to one side for a second.
The enlightened people,
Right.
like the Bhagats.
Yeah, but if we just look at the Gurus, 10 Gurus that came one after the other, successive Gurus for 239 years, giving the same divine truth. No change, no distortion, no question marks, right? Where again, I'm not here to go into the Quran and the Hadiths and the legitimacy of it. People have done that themselves. But for 239 years, the Gurus have delivered the same consistent message from the first Guru to the 10th Guru. And now it's all in scripture form, checked by the Guru themselves and signed off by the Guru in the city Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So in terms of a case for continuity, I think we have a very strong case when it comes to that.
We have the strongest case, really.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd let him carry on. Let's see. I think he starts with the same points and he finishes them, but he just keeps adding layers onto it each time.
Does not make any sense at all. So that's why Islam is an attractive proposition. I can tell you this I'm a person who tries to spread Islam. I try to convert people to Islam, as I'm
Convert or revert? That's my point.
trying to do to you right now.
He's trying, but it's not working. You're actually doing the opposite. And in some cases, we've kind of got to say thank you to you because, these videos do well.
Yeah.
Do double, right? So they do well. So thanks for making a fool of yourself and just showing to the people,
And the funny thing is, actually, a lot of Sikhs have stood up and are actually making content.
Yeah.
And he's actually inspired a lot of Sikhs
Yeah.
to learn their faith better. And he's inspired them to create content to combat this kind of very simplistic narrative that he's giving about Islam and Hinduism and Sikhi. It's just so basic. He's not read up on anything. But I'm sure he's even got a PhD. So it's disappointing to see that he's just simplified it.
To be honest, it was quite disappointing because, again, I'm not saying I'm a fan of Mohammed Hijab, but I've seen the things that he's done in terms of going on Piers Morgan, I think he went on. So he's got to some levels,
Yep.
which fair enough in a worldly sense, you can say, look, fair play to you.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean? But it's like, to come to this video and first of all say that the Bhagat Farid Ji is a peer of Guru Nanak Dev Ji and they were influenced by them. It's like, bro, just at least Google search it. Don't you use Google before you search anything, right? Or read any books, right? I'm saying that Google's the best thing to use, but just one thing after the other. Like you'd expect this from our boy from Malaysia who's made a few reaction videos, but we keep ignoring him because again, we're not here to debate, by the way. Yeah? We're not going to keep going back and forth on this. People can make their video responses to us, and we're just going to laugh and say thank you for the views and helping us spread this truth. But yeah, it's really funny. So let's see what he finishes off with.
Yeah. So if that's the case, you have to ask yourself: would God leave people with guidance without guidance for all this time? It doesn't.
No, it doesn't make sense. And like we've said, God did not leave people blinded. God sent people before Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and all those people came, like we said. And this makes more sense logically that they all came. They couldn't get it done, so God had to come themselves. Instead of, it's like when a parent, a father tells their son, go get my keys, and they can't find the keys, and they come back and say, I can't find the keys, then they have to go themselves. Right? And if you apply that same logic to this, then why Guruji saying all these beings to go and deliver this truth, then they weren't able to do it, so then why Guruji came themselves, right? The ocean took upon a form as the wave. But again, I would like to still give the disclaimer, we're not here trying to chuck shade or hate on Islam. And we'll come to our conclusion in terms of what is our message to Muslims as well, to keep it very clear. But this is, again, our response to Mohammed Hijab. And let's see what is the final thing that Mohammed Hijab has to say. And then we'll finish off this video.
Make any sense. Therefore, you can say that the truth is we have to look at where the continuities lie. And the continuities lie in Tawhid. One God worthy of worship. You believe in one God worthy of worship, just like Abraham believed, just like Moses believed, just like even in your religion. You emphasize monotheism, right? One God worthy, you already believe in that, okay? And then you realize, okay, this couldn't have been some kind of coincidence. And then you realize, therefore, what religion fits the criterion, which fits the data and explains, has explanatory scope. And the answer is Islam. That's all I have to say. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you.
The funny thing is as well, he's saying this whole continuity point about one God. Very simply, there's schools of Hinduism who also believe in one God, who are outside of this kind of Abrahamic framework that he set forth. So does that mean that because Hinduism, or this term of Hinduism, because it became before all these Abrahamic religions, and that school also believes in one God, of one consciousness, universal consciousness, does that mean that you plagiarize from them?
Yep, and even the Tawhid point that he makes as well, just did a bit of research into it. And yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but again, when it comes to Tawhid and their kind of definition of the one, they refer to, in that case, Islamic God having emotions like anger or jealousy, or, this idea of, hating the disbelievers, right? But I guess if you were to ask a simple question, that does the Sikhi definition of God, which is somebody who is nirvair, who has no enmity, right? Nako badi nahi begana. Even not even just the God in that case, even the devotees, the Sikh human beings, having no enemies, right? See nobody as a stranger. So you've got Waheguru being nirvair, and then you've got this idea, this concept of Allah hating the disbelievers. Which God sounds greater to you? Right? So again, this idea of Tawhid, that we see God as somebody who's compassionate. We say that they are Kisagar, they're the ocean of compassion.
What God would send someone into an eternal hellfire?
Yeah.
What compassionate God?
Where they could have been born into a life where they had no access to what they claim is the ultimate truth, and go their whole lives. And then obviously they're probably going to say, well, there's some sort of...
If the God is meant to be most forgiving, most compassionate,
most merciful, and you give them the opportunity.
And you send them into eternal punishment for temporary actions. It doesn't make sense.
For 80 years of mistakes, right? Because again, unfortunately, people go through hardships in their life, right? People fall off the path. I'm sure there's many Muslims that have unfortunately been through hard stuff and they've fallen off the path as well.
Really, the continuity point he's making here, we agree with that. We're saying, your idea, there is a one God, there is that framework, but you just haven't had the complete truth. You haven't seen the complete picture. Maybe it wasn't communicated fully, it was misunderstood, or whatever the reason is, that, we believe in the exact same thing, that continuity, all of the examples you've given here, fits into our framework, whereas you couldn't say the same for your framework for us.
Perfect. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Mohammed Hijab for giving us a video to react to as well. What we'd like to do to finish off with is give a final message to the Muslims that are watching this video, and then a final message to, I guess, to the Sikhs, and then a final message to Mohammed Hijab as well. So when it comes to the Muslims that are watching this video, and to us, anybody of any faith, because this isn't just for the Muslims, when Bahadur Shah, who was the Mughal emperor after Aurangzeb, when he came to meet Siddhi Guru Gobind Singh Ji in Nanded, right, which is more the south of India, he asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji this question, right, from a Muslim background, right? And this is our answer to all Muslims and our stance on Islam, right? They said, Mazhab kaun sa khuba tumara ya hamara. They say to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, whose faith, whose path, whose religion, whatever name you want to give to it, kaun sa khub, whose religion is more beautiful, whose religion is more good, better. Tumara, yours, ya hamara, or mine. So whose is better? Is Islam better or is Sikhi better? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji says back to them, Tume tumara khub, hame hamara khub. Tume tumara khub means that to you, yours is beautiful, hame hamara khub, and to us, ours is beautiful. That's our stance, right? That's why the Guru can easily say to a Muslim, okay, meher masjid. If you're going to go to the mosque, then we don't care about your title. It's about your actions. It's about the path. We all walk in that same path. God's not going to ask you, are you Muslim, are you Christian, are you Sikh? They're going to ask you, what did you do? How did you behave? Did you connect or did you not connect? Did you help serve humanity? Did you help people or did you hurt people? Right? They're not going to ask, what is your title? You come in because you're this faith. It don't work like that. That's just like complete. Let's take this away from all these kind of theology, all this kind of these types of galla, these types of intellectual talks, right? Or all this stuff. Just simple, basis of Sikhi, pardon the pun, right? Basic knowledge. Just be a nice person. Just be a good person. Connect to the one. And just show love to everyone. And that's it. We don't need to complicate this. Right? So that's our message to people of all faiths. To you, yours is beautiful. To ours beautiful. Again, when it comes to Mohammed Hijab, just stay in your lane. Just keep Sikhi conversations off your channel, out of your mind. And just focus on your teachings and apply them into your life. And that's it.
Yeah.
And for the Sikhs, I'd say, it's very simple, right? Learn about Sikhi, like Mohammed Hijab said, seek the truth. The truth is all here. The Guru has given us the complete truth. And we say, we're not apologetic about this. Sabte vadda Sat Guru Nanak Jin Kal Rakhi Meri. We believe, not even we believe, we know that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is the highest of the high. Right? There's no one greater than Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and there will never ever be anybody who is greater than Siddhi Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Aap Parameshwar, Aap Narayana Kala Tar, Jag Mein Paravaryo, the Aap Parameshwar Vaheguru Ji, Aap God themselves took upon a physical form and came in the form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And like Adavi Singh said earlier, not all religions are equal. So even because you have to give this message to Sikhs, right? Because sometimes we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot, certain Sikhs, right? We do not believe that all religions are equal. We believe all people are equal, all humans are equal. Sab mein hai jot hai soy, but we don't believe all religions are equal. Otherwise, I find the easiest religion to follow and just get to God, right? That's not the case. Of course, you believe that Sikhi, this path, the universal teachings is the highest path, and whoever walks that path, of any label, they can become one with the divine. And the final message to give to Mohammed Hijab as well, because he said in the video twice that Sikhs seek the truth. Our message to you is a message from Siddhi Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And Siddhi Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, when they went to Mecca, and they were speaking to the Muslims about the namaz, right? Again, influence. You said earlier about influence. The Guru gave their message to the Muslims. They said, Panj Navaja Vakt Panja Panja Panje now. They speak of the Panj Nawaz, right? Not to go into the details of it. And they say, what is the first namaz? This is the true namaz, the first one. Pehla Satcha. They say the first namaz, the first thing you should practice is truthfulness. So our message to you is that you're telling us to seek the truth. Our message to you is, Mohammed Hijab, why don't you learn to start telling the truth, right? And stop giving this distorted version of Sikhi, of any faith. Just learn to live the truth, speak the truth, and then maybe, just like the rest of us, as we're trying, we'll find and connect to the ultimate truth. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And again, you know, if anything that we said was out of line, was disrespectful to any faith, especially in this case because we're speaking about the Islamic faith, then we apologize if any of my own words or Karim's words offended you. If any of the words of the Guru offended you, then what can we say, right? The truth is the truth. But again, anything that we try to share in this case is only to educate, right? It's not to spread hate. Again, like we said at the start of the video, not because we're afraid or anything like that, but we do have a lot of Muslim friends. We have a lot of love. My oldest mate is actually a Muslim in that case, right? Shout out to Amir, right? My mate. And again, we get along great. We can have a few jokes, right? But not this level.
The main question I have here is, who gives him the authority to dictate what we believe?
Yeah.
Because clearly he's just done a very crude, simplistic, kind of definition of what Sikhi is, and he's tried to fit in his own framework. But really, the only authority goes to the Guru. The Guru tells us, and they are the ultimate authority. And if you were to read their words and their teachings, then you understand actually what the Guru is saying when they reject a lot of the practices of these false people, that what they were doing at the time from these different faiths. If you want to learn more, we invite you to read the Guru's words and see what the Guru said themselves. And finally, I want to say that it's amazing to also see how many Sikhs have come forth and are making different types of content now, addressing these topics, these videos that people are making. So yeah, we're glad. Hopefully more people step up and do it and educate themselves and, you know, spread the message of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Yeah. And if you want to learn more, then we invite you to check out our channel. Check out Basics of Sikhi TV. We've got so many amazing playlists, the Finding Sikhi series, the Gurmukh series, or check out the main channel, Basics of Sikhi, where we've got anti-conversion series, we've got Q&As.
Yep, and like we said earlier, we're not here to convert anybody in terms of the labels. We're here to change your actions. We're not caught up in labels in that case. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much again. Please like this video. Please share this video as well so we can get this message out, get this truth out of what actually Sikhi is. I know what his version is of Sikhi. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.